how your childhood shapes your business decisions. I want to come up here with 5 examples that I went through with clients, just to give you an idea of how your childhood can shape so much tremendously your decisions and how you act as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a founder, whatever. First example, you might have this feeling that you're never doing enough. You're never thinking fast enough, and actually as a result you are always like on the run, always doing more, always thinking faster, and you also have this urge to simply be successful and to have more success. And that makes you run quite fast in your mind, and that also means that if decisions pop up, hey, shall we do A, shall we do B, shall we do both, you tend to be very fast, you tend to be very much of an action taker. You're not somebody who's like sitting there and reflecting for 2 hours, you're taking action, which also partly made you very successful, because proactivity is the number one factor that is correlated with success. And you also tend to do things simultaneously, multiple things at the same time. And this characteristic, of course, leads to specific decisions you take. You do both, you do all, you do it all together, you work long hours. Those are all decisions you take. And those might be, just might be, because the way you got raised, especially probably with your father. So people with this characteristic often, statistically speaking, grew up with a father that maybe is, for example, a narcissist, that is highly demanding, that always put you out of your comfort zone, never made you feel like you arrive, never showed you that, yes, the way you are is great, you're enough. And also probably your mother hasn't really taken over this role. Sometimes this is, your father pushes you out of your comfort zone, you learn, and your mother gives you this just unconditional love, and you're just there and safe, and you feel in a sense, okay, I'm good enough. No, you always have this feeling of something is getting demanded from me because your father pushed you that way a lot. And that's why you run fast, and that's why you're still nowadays, when you run a business, you're also running that fast. And in a sense, you're still trying to prove to your father that you're good enough. There's still a conflict going on. If you let go of this conflict, you will attach a different type of motivation to your behavior. You're not feeling like you're running away, or you need to prove something, or you need to reach this in order to feel worthy. You can then reconnect your motivation and do all that because you love it, because you're passionate about it, and not because you have to prove something. But it affects your business decisions. First example. Second example is the fear of success. So maybe you notice whenever there is a tricky situation where you notice I can step up to that and I'll actually get on the next level. Or maybe, for example, I can run ads, and if I just keep running them, I actually make more money and it's working well, but I'm afraid to show my face. I'm afraid to speak up in front of all those people. I'm afraid to, maybe even raise my prices. And to be outstanding, important term, to be outstanding. You become afraid because you're afraid of being outstanding. You're afraid of success because that means you stand out of others. And that could be because in the past you somehow noticed, maybe in your family again, maybe in high school you had some traumatic experience where you noticed, if I'm outstanding, if I'm very successful, people will hate me, people will put me down. I worked with one client, he played handball. That's a sports in Europe, and he was actually quite good at that. And he came into a new group of people who played handball, and he was really amazing, and he was really taking it over. And after the training, actually, there was another guy coming up to him and really like being very mad at him, like they beat him up because they felt quite frustrated because before they were the best people in the team, and now he's the best one. And they were very, very jealous. And he noticed early on, if I'm coming into a new group of people and I'm acing it and I'm showing my real strength, they beat me up. Business decision-wise, this means whenever you have a decision where you noticed, I'm a little bit afraid because this might go very well, you tend to draw back. You tend to not show your deep strength. And that's actually making you lose a lot of money and a lot of success. Second example. Third example, you're not charging enough. I had one client where Her grandfather, he actually had a lot of money, but he lost it all. He was just gambling it all away. And she sort of learned early on, you know, if you have a lot, you can lose a lot. And that's why her business decision is, she's a dentist. She was never charging much. She was never even like trying to sell people something because she felt very weird about it. She felt very, very worried about it. She almost didn't even sign up working with me because, well, that was about investing money, and losing money was also a problem for her. But we worked together and we worked it out. Yeah, so money is also a big mindset thing that also shapes your business decisions later on, and you learn your relationship to money early on in life. Probably with your parents, probably somewhere in your family. Third one. Fourth one, fear of responsibility. Maybe you're somebody who's very much of a minimalist, who don't want to do multiple things at the same time, who don't want to actually own things, have employees. You all hate the responsibility part. That's maybe because early on in life you had to take on a lot of responsibility. Your parents gave you a lot of tasks. Maybe you were the firstborn child, you had to take care of the siblings, and early on you had to be very much of an adult and manage everything. And you noticed, I hate it. I'm just a little child. I feel overwhelmed. I don't want that. And that's why now when you're an adult, you just don't want responsibility anymore, because you have been so traumatized by taking responsibility on early on. Sometimes it even means, you know, as a child, maybe your mother just shared all the problems she had. And you also felt overwhelmed by that. And you felt, what shall I do with this? I'm just a little child. I don't know. Maybe back in the days you even liked it, because it means that your mother raised your status by telling her her struggles to you. But nowadays you notice, well, I don't know what to do with this, and you still feel, okay, responsibilities are quite overwhelming. Random example. Fifth example, fear of failure. You're having also fear of committing and going all out. That might be because your mother never gave this feeling of unconditional love. Maybe your mother was also working and not a lot home. Maybe your mother was by nature very demanding and very masculine in that sense, and never gave you this feeling like, it's okay. You don't need to do anything to be loved. Even if you fail, you can go back to me and I'll love you. This gives you tremendous self-esteem. And if you have self-esteem, you don't have a big fear of failure. And maybe you never experienced this true deep love of I am good enough as I am. It's always tied to something. I need to be successful, but if I fail, I won't be loved. That's why I'm afraid of failure. And again, your business decisions will be a certain way. If something is tricky, if something is a little bit risky, let's maybe not do this. Let's go the safe route. Let's do it as we did it in the past. Let's maybe not take too much risk. Let's not spend too much money on a consultant, because I'm afraid of losing it. Could be also connected to that. Because again, it's basically this conflict and this fear that you had as a child already, this fear of not being loved if you fail. Yeah. A lot of random examples. I'm not even sure whether one of those resonated right here, but maybe it gave you an idea of how much your childhood actually affects your life also as an entrepreneur and business owner these days. If you notice you have a particular pattern in your business decisions, how you make them, and you also hypothesize there is something in your childhood, independent of that, whether it's from the childhood or not, you want to change it as fast as possible to make different decisions, because you know you can be more successful. Then I suggest we talk, schedule a call with me. There's a link below. And there we can actually just sit together, work out a strategy, and understand how working together looks like. Everything's for free, those first 2 calls. And then at the end, we can make a decision. No strings attached. So again, book this call. You have nothing to lose. How much longer you want to walk around with this feeling, with this behavioral pattern that you're having. It's not serving you. It's quite unproductive. So let's talk.